All right, what's up everybody? Mr. Pash here. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over some aspects of color mixing. Some aspects that I went over in previous videos, but just to kind of reinforce some of our ideas here and to think about really just how to, a very methodical process on how to fill these up, because it could get pretty time consuming if you don't get into a process. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna fill in one of these slices, and I'm gonna do a yellow green. So we're gonna get into the tertiary colors here. Okay, so for each section, this one's a little bit different. Let me give you guys a different example. All right, sorry about that. Maybe this example here. So for each slice, again, we're gonna have a hue, a tone, a tint, and a shade, as well as possibly leaving some aspects white or black. We can always do that later. But yeah, so we're just gonna get right into it here. Okay, so on my palette, make sure you guys have a nice clean bucket of water to start off with, especially for each color. Make sure you guys just have one or two small round brushes, a rag to wipe those off, and you should be good to go. Okay, so we're gonna see how quick we can do this. On my design, my rough draft, I already plotted out what I think, I haven't done any color yet, but what I think I want to be the hues, the tints, the tones, and the shades. Okay, so you can kind of create your own diagram. And you can also, if you have markers or color pencils, kind of fill them in to see if it's going to work for you, if you have that ability there. Okay. All right, so let's get right into it. So I'm going to do a yellow-green. We're also talking about mixing tertiary colors here. White and black, probably more than I need. And yellow and blue for that green. And instead of just kind of a pure green, we're going to go yellow-green. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start activating my brush. And usually I like to use a brush just for mixing and then one for painting. So with the yellow, we know that yellow and blue make green, but we want a yellow green, more like a lime green. So I'm going to just start off with just a tad of blue and see where we get here. Okay, so I want to create one large kind of splotch of that hue, because then I'm going to use that for my tints, tones, and shades. Definitely need a lot more blue. See where we get. Now I don't want to go too far, because then I'm going to have to start adding in more yellow, which I don't want to do. Okay, we're getting there. Still looking pretty mustardy. So see how I'm just kind of building up little by little. I don't want to go too far. I'm already making a mess. Kind of mustardy. Let's get a little bit more. We'll get there. Make sure you really get that hue that you want. Right, looking very mustardy here. Need some more blue. Alright, and try not to, I'm using little reservoirs here, try not to, as you mix, spread out your paints too much, because the more you spread out, the quicker it will dry. These colors look pretty bad, actually. Ooh, it's like brownish yellow. What's going on here? Let me paint a little swatch off here. Okay, it's like a not too lime. Let's do one more and see where we get. All right, so again, sometimes these craft paints get a lot of different color aspects here. This is more of a muted yellow. It almost looks like a tone already. But, you know, I'm not going to grade you too much on the color because of the supplies that we have here, but we'll get right to it. All right, so I want to activate my brush. And I'll probably start off with, make sure that's a a good yellow, green. It's okay. We'll start off here by painting in the hues. So I have this section as my hue. And remember, this is your final, so you want to paint it cleanly and fully. And you might need to do a couple layers depending on your paints. And try to, it's a smaller design here, so make sure you use a smaller brush. Some of you guys might try to use too big of brushes here. This is a very bad yellow green, but we're doing it. All right. So we're just kind of painting by numbers here. And then I'll kind of do a quicker process for you guys. I'm going to be able to finish this just for time's sake, but let's just say that's our yellow green. And then also did this as my hue down here. I would actually go back and try to remix and see if I can get more of a lime green than this like light olive green. We need to activate a little bit more. If your paint is really thick, make sure you just add some water to your brush. You don't want to add too much, but just kind of activate it a little bit, and that will help the fluidity of your paints. It will make them more translucent, so be careful of that. This is actually going to be white here. All right, so let's say we have our hues here, and those are all painted in, everything we want. Now we want to go to our tint. So what you do is take a pretty good chunk, okay? And remember, this is going to be darker now compared to the white, so we need some of this white for the tones. Give yourself a pretty decent amount. You can see you don't really need a lot of paint for each one of these slices. And mix that up. Looks like a decent color. Nice light tint. Probably make that a little bit lighter. And then you're gonna go through and then paint all the tints in. And I think on this one, it's like this section here. Okay. Solidly, fluidly. Try to, do some nice clean edges. If this is a darker color in here, it could probably overlap and clean the edges a lot more. And I could probably go a little bit lighter than this, so I might go back and add some more white to lighten it up, but that's okay for now. Ooh, nice colors coming through. Any other part that I did was a tint. Yes, I did tints for here. These little diamond shapes. And try to cover my pencil marks here. This is why you don't want your pencil marks too dark, because they will show through your paint. Okay. All right, looking good. All right, now we want our tone. So here's already a tint. We can just add like a dot, like a little dot of black, just to add in some tonal aspects. And then I'll make it a grayish color. You don't want to wash out the color of it, so you don't want it to look too gray. Okay, so let's see what that looks like with just a dot. And sometimes you can paint swatches off to the side or on a scrap piece of paper and make sure you got what you're looking for. And so the tone I did in here. Not too much contrast there, so let's add a little bit more black, just another dot. Okay, swirl your brush in there. There we go, a little bit more contrast there. Okay, still got that color green in there. Probably could go a little bit I wish I did go a little bit lighter on the tints there, but this is where, you know, you go back into your design over the top and maybe outline in black too. All right, so now I need to wash that out. I can't add more black to get the shade because remember, shades don't have white in there. So we gotta add another splotch here. Add a pretty decent amount because now this color is gonna be light to black. Okay, so we need more of the lighter color, less of the darker color. Really clean out the brush, make sure you don't have any white in there. Wipe it off a rag. Add just one good little dot of black. And you should have your shade. You can definitely go a little bit more here for some contrast. There we go. Nice muddy green. And I could probably add some more black in here for some more contrast. Okay, and fill that in as you go, and then fill in all your shapes. Okay, I probably would want to add a little bit more black in here for some more contrast. You can see it's really close to the hue there. Let's try it one more time. I just want to be careful. I don't want to go too black where it's like, just looks like, you know, almost black. That color's not showing through. Okay. There we go. More contrast there. You guys see that? Color's still showing through, but just darker. Nice even brush stroke. Let's try it up here. Remember these brush strokes too, when you want clean lines, just try to get close to the edge, splay out your brush, and try to do it in one swipe. Gotta have a decent amount of paint in your brush. You don't want to get too gloppy, and just a little bit of water just to kind of loosen up and activate. And try to color that in flat. Well, we didn't get to that lime green I was looking for, but it definitely works for color. A lot of you guys are going to have different color aspects, but I'm not too worried about. I'm just looking at whether you know, the colors mixed up pretty well, and then especially the tints, tones, and shades. We got some nice different variant aspects of whatever color you guys were able to mix, just as long as it's close. And then fill in. You can see how kind of quickly we're able to mix that. These other sections here I planned out to be white and black, which I'll just fill in with pure white and black and mix in some gray and start filling in there. Once I'm done with this, I'll want to wash out my palette, or if I have a paper plate, just toss it, start with a new color and do the same process here.